All right, good morning. How you guys doing? So, Bruno Mars, Marry You. So this is the solo arrangement. If you haven't already watched episode 65, The Secret, you should definitely check that episode out first before jumping into this episode. So, we got 4 parts. Introduction is just the C chord. Okay, we got part 1, the verse. Okay. We got part 2, the chorus. Part 3, the bridge. Okay, so we're going to put it together. So we're going to be using the secret technique. And I want to explain one thing first though, okay? When we do a solo arrangement, there's 2 parts. So part 1 is like the melody. We're doing a cover song, so we have to kind of stick with the melody, okay? But there's the other part where there's the rest and there's no melody, and that's where I'm either going to strum or do something just to kind of fill up that time, okay? So if I just played the melody, it would go something like this. Rest, 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 rest. Rest, 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 rest. And this is all the rest over again. So, during the rest, okay, that's where you can be very flexible. You have so many options. It's just a matter of what do you want to do during that time. You could strum. Exactly. Okay, so I'm just kind of strumming during that rest. You could do something more, maybe try an arpeggio thing. Options. So, you know, when I'm teaching this song, I want you to kind of focus on, I'll try to show you guys the melody part and you guys can follow along. During the rest, I actually encourage you guys to just kind of do what feels natural to you, okay? So what I'm going to do when I teach this song is I'm going to teach mainly just the melody parts, okay? And then I want to give you time to try to figure out what you want to do when there's no melody to be played. Okay, but at the end of the video, I will play the whole song slowly. So if you really want to figure out exactly what I'm doing, you can. Okay, so let's start with the song. Let's do it. Okay, so part 1, the intro, is just the C chord, and the melody is just C, G, A, E. So high C, G, A, remember we use that technique. Instead of picking with our thumb, we use our pointer finger, and we're just gonna go C, G, A, E. Sorry, one more time. C, G, A, E. So this is pretty much it, okay? So now we can kind of add some touches to it. So like, for example, this is the intro, so I want it a little cleaner than just doing this. I'm going to use a technique where I pluck the C string and the A string at the same time. Okay? And if you're comfortable doing this up tap, up tap, up tap, up tap, you should be able to do it. It's just like doing it at the same time. Up tap at the same time. And instead of the G string, we're using the C string. Okay? So because I'm playing the octaves, it just kind of gives me a fuller sound. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pluck that string, the two strings, and then I'm just going to pick the other notes. Just like this. Okay, and remember how I mentioned I wanted to make it a little cleaner, so I'm not actually hitting the other strings, but you can. I just like it a little cleaner. It's just preference. To the first verse. Okay, so just like that, hopefully because you understand the technique, you know your chords, you know your notes, we can just move on. Okay, but one more time, 4 times. Okay, now we're going to part 1. Okay, so the melody, okay? The melody that I play, it's not exactly like the song, and the reason is whenever I arrange songs, I try to keep it close to the melody, but at the same time, you know, just in case you don't know the song, you know, I might make a little change, you know, like a small change. Just for example, on the melody, there's a little chapel on the boulevard weekend. Okay, so I like the melody. Instead of doing this, I do it this way. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm actually altering the melody slightly, but if you know the song, it's funny how your brain works, because if you know the song, you can still hear the melody. You're not going to say like, hey, that's wrong. Okay, if you know the song, you can still hear the melody. There's a little chapel. Funny how the brain works, but you can still hear the melody. But if you don't know the song, I kind of think this is a little bit more catchy. Instead of going, there's a little chapel. Okay, so just a preference thing. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm just doing this. G, A, B, high C. So it's space number 3, all on the E string. 3, 5, 7, 8. 3, 5, 7, 8. And I add the taps in between. 3 tap, 5 tap, 7 tap, 8 tap. Okay, this should be simple for you guys. Okay, now watch this part. Okay, so now this looks kind of like, wait, what did I just do? Okay, well, the next chord is D minor, and I'm using this as my D minor. So I'm borrowing the C string, E string, and A string on space number 5. Okay? A variation of a D minor. Okay, so the melody, D, E, D, high C, I'm using the high C on the E string, space number 8, and A. It's right here. So the A is space number 5 on the E string. So just go ahead and sound that out. You're already holding the D minor, and you just add the melody. Okay, but now use that technique. That's it. Okay, but what I'm doing is for the first first note, the D, I'm strumming that. So strum, pick, 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 pick. Okay, so here we go. Okay, simple, right? It looks fancy, but it's not anything fancy. It's just the D, E, D, C, A. Okay, now this is the part you're gonna have to strum now. So. Doing in between the melody, I'm basically strumming. Okay, oh, airplane coming through. Okay, so I'm basically strumming. Up, 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 and right here I'm adding this 7. E, high E. So space number 7 on the A string. So da, 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 go to the F chord, and the F chord I'm going to use, this variation is like this. Just like the D minor, but I'm just holding down the E string and the A string. And the melody is the same. So same thing. Okay, so rest, 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 rest. I'm just playing a C chord. We're at the C chord now. And the melody is G, D, high D, and C. Okay, and I'm hammering on the D if you want to do that. And I'm basically playing G, D, tap, C. Okay, so one more time. D minor, rest, 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 rest. Rest. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we come back in with the verse. Okay, so that's it. So if you need to pause, take your time, work those parts out. Okay, now I'm gonna just fill up the rest with some strums. At the last part, when I do the G, D, C, and I resolve to the regular C. So this is more of a power C with the G, right? I'm holding the G, and then I'm going to release to a regular C. Verse number 1, okay, or part 1. Okay, now let's move into part 2. And don't forget, I will play it at the end slowly for you guys. So if you guys insist on, watch my fingers, you can. But this is more like a test for you guys. I'm kind of running through this, assuming that you're comfortable with the technique, you know your chords, you know your notes, and your rhythm. Remember the strum pattern challenge? Because that's all I'm doing. My hands are going. Deciding it's not the right thing to do, it's not the wrong, it's just preference. I'm accenting on the up, 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 down. So and up, 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 down. Okay? And if you have a hard time with that, strum pattern challenge would be a good episode for you guys. Okay? Part 1, let's go to part 2. See how quickly we're moving? Okay. Part 2. adding from D to E. This is all over the key of the C chord, so that's why it's pretty simple. We can just add the melody. Now we're gonna have to go to the D7. Okay, so is it or is it that? Okay, for that, because I need time to go to the D7, I'm gonna just tap that. So I'm actually leaving out that melody. But like I said, if you know the song, so for some reason you're still gonna hear it. Okay, now the D7. D7, bar space number 5, and your middle finger goes on the C string space number 6. This is your D7 chord. Okay? Doing? Okay, D7, what's the melody? High D, E, C, A. Okay, so let's run through that again. High D, you're already holding it on the A string. Add high E on the A string. Okay, now your high C, you're actually holding it on the G string, so just tap. And then A on the E string, you're already holding it. That's your A. So I'm strumming the D, E, tap, that's my C, and the E string up. That's your A. So let's practice this. That's it. Okay, and now for the strumming part. Same pattern, up, 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 down, and then I hit that high E, down, up, up, down. Okay, so try to feel it, feel that. Da, 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 da. To the F chord. We use this F chord already in the verse, right? And we're gonna play the same melody. D, E, C. Okay. Oh no, I'm sorry, it's different. It's the chorus. Da, 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 da. F. Okay, so who cares, baby? So the melody, D, high C on the E string, space number 8, and A. And the way I'm playing it is D, C, tap, A. Okay, so you got that? Give you this one. After I do the D, C, tap, A, I'm going tap, C string, tap. Okay, you got that? So D, C, tap, A, tap, C string, tap, and we're going to go straight into the. F at 9, but F chord, it's the melody, and then the C chord. So I put it together. One more time from the D7. Okay, so remember it's D, E, C, A, and I think I'm going. Okay, so after I do this dun, 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 I'm hitting the C string and then I'm tapping. So dun, 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 C string tap, up, 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 down. Okay, so dun, 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 dun. One more time, D7. C tap, up, 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 down. F chord. Tap, C tap. F chord with the C. So put it together. Resolve. One more time. Back to the verse. Okay, so we got the chorus, okay, and like I said, I'll play it again slowly later. And now let's move on to the last part, the bridge. Okay, so the bridge, I want you guys to, this is kind of a weird one because the melody is basically don't say, and we know this already, tap, G, tap, don't say E, and I slide there, I think. Okay, and the only reason why I say it's a weird one is because in this arrangement, I kind of added a few notes just to kind of connect a line. So the basically, right, the melody goes, don't say no, 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 no. Say yeah, 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 yeah. Something like that, right? Okay, so, but instead of doing the just say no, 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 and then ending the line there, I kind of like this walk up. Don't say no, no, no. So did you hear those few notes, those 3 notes I think I added? Then I'm going to the G, A, C, and I feel like that goes nicely into the D minor chord there, okay? So there's something I added, but let's learn the melody first. Okay, so if you want to slide from D to E, you can. Or you can just go straight into it. Okay, and what I'm doing is I'm plucking the E string and the C string. Okay, and what I'm going to do is just teach you the melody first. D, C, B, C, G, G, A, C. Okay, I want you to learn that first, okay? So melody, E, D, C, B, C, G, G, A, and high C. A is space number 5 on the E string, and high C, I'm space number 8 on the E string. Okay, so E, D, C, B, C, G, G, A, C. Okay, and I want you to figure out where you want to add the taps. Okay, so that's where I put it. But you try to, play around, figure it out. Because during the rest, when there's no melody, that's kind of your chance, your opportunity to be a little creative, okay? Make this arrangement your own arrangement, Okay, so we got the... Okay, or at least for now. Okay, now we're gonna go to the D minor chord. We're using this as our D minor, and the melody is F, E, D, C, A. Okay, so high F, high E, high D, high C on the E string, space number 8, and A. So we can pluck it again. Okay, and then the next part, this is our D minor. We're gonna go back to the same F chord by just dropping our fingers down, and we're gonna go F, E, D, C, A. It's the same melody, okay? F, E, D, C, A. Okay, so one more time from the top. C chord. D minor chord. F, E, D, C, A. Now we're gonna go to the F chord, same melody. F, E, D, C, A, 2, 3. To the C chord, melody. G, G, D, E, G, G, D, E. Okay, so one more time. So hopefully you guys can kind of follow that. And like I said, you just focus on the chord, know the chord, hold it, and focus on the melody after that. And so this is what you should have. You should be able to do this on your own so far. Let's see. Oh, no, sorry. You should be able to do this. D minor, and the melody is F, E, D, C, A, 2, 3. Now you go to the F chord, same thing. 2, 3. C chord, the melody is G, G, D, E, G, G, D, E. Okay, and that's the whole melody for part number 3, and you're going to do it twice. Okay, so once you got the melody, now you can try to be creative and figure out where you want to add the taps, where you want to strum. I just kind of added in those few strokes just to kind of keep the song groovy. All right, so that's part 3. So what I would suggest is practicing all the different parts first, okay? And let me run through every single part slowly. Part 1, intro. Okay, part 2. Part 2, that was part 1. I should have just called it part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. I don't know, an intro, part 1. Okay, so now we're going to do part 2, or the chorus. Okay. circuit I'm going to use is, I'm going to go intro. And the intro comes in here, okay, part 1. I'm going to count the verse, or part 1, like I do it twice. So, okay, doing it twice means 1. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 1, 3, 2. Okay, so same with the chorus. So when I say 2, I'm going to do it twice. Okay? Oh, and then end with the intro. So what you're going to notice is when I get to this one, because I'm going to play over here, right, the verse. And again. Okay, then I'm going to go to the chorus. Okay, then I'm going to go back to the verse again. I'm going to repeat it, right? Because I'm going to do this twice. And then around that time, that's when I kind of feel like I'm going to lose the listener because it's the same thing. So just these little things like doing small little change like that. I mean, I'm not saying like that's like the most awesome thing in the world, but I mean, just to kind of change it up, just to kind of give your listener something like, oh, that's a little different, you know. Because what you're trying to do is you don't want your listener to start feeling like, oh, it's getting boring, okay? And boring means it's just too repetitive, okay? And that was a song, same thing like Shutdown. The song Shutdown. So my point is this, okay? In the beginning, it's kind of cool, right? Like if you're a ukulele player, you think, oh, it sounds fast. Like there's a lot of things going on. So how long can you listen to that same thing and be like, hey, that's pretty cool. Oh, what is he doing? I don't know, 1 or 2 times maybe, and then I want to get out. So once I get into the strumming, so at least it's a change. And then what I do after that, I went back to the same thing. And maybe around here, you're just kind of like, okay. And then I did it again. And around there, you're probably thinking like, okay, I think I heard enough, right? But then I went back into that, and I think, oh, okay, it's moving. Like you're kind of excited. And then just again, I don't actually perform the song like this, by the way. But again, I went back to the same thing. Okay, and it doesn't matter how fancy or anything, you just keep doing it over and over and over. Your audience kind of gets tired. So I try to be aware of that in my arrangements. So with this song, feel like, oh, I don't know, should I do it again? I'm not sure. I'll just kind of change it up a little bit. Just to buy me that little extra 20 seconds that I need before I go into the bridge, you know? Something like that. So there is a thought process, and I don't know, maybe it's not a big deal, but you know, that's kind of what I think about when I arrange music. So I'm going to make that little change there. Then we go into the bridge. And if you cannot guess by now, the bridge actually, that's what it does. It allows me to just kind of take the audience to a different place, okay? Because they've heard verse one, and don't forget, I do it twice, right? So they heard it twice. Then I do the chorus. Now I'm back to verse one, and if I feel like I'm gonna lose them, all right, just throw in that bridge to take them away, keep it interesting. We're back to the chorus, that's kind of the main part of the song, and then I'm just gonna repeat the end a couple times, and I'm gonna take them out with the same intro. So I guess you'd call it the outro. Okay, so it goes something like this. And that's it. Okay, so this is just my arrangement. You guys can, try to play along, learn the melody. Be creative with it. You don't have to play it exactly like me. You might listen to it, you might say, I don't like this part. Change it, It's not a big deal. And that's kind of the cool things about making arrangements though. And that's what I love the most. So like, this song is my own personal arrangement. And it's kind of a neat feeling that, there's nobody in the world that I know of right now that's doing this arrangement of Bruno Mars's tune. So I kind of like that, and it's kind of cool where maybe in the future, you'll start seeing on YouTube some kids playing it or some other people playing it and maybe other people teaching it or whatnot. So it's always a nice thing, but I believe too soon we'll do a few more songs using solo arrangements and using this technique. And then I'm pretty sure you guys are going to be on your way to creating your own songs or arranging things, because you're going to realize you hold the C chord, change the melody to an F chord, to a G chord, D chord, C chord. So whatever you guys would want to try, you're going to realize, just hold the chord, add notes. I can make up my own melody. It's pretty fun and it's pretty simple. It's not as hard as you think. So hope you guys enjoy this song and practice. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments below and I will see you guys later. All right, good luck. Cheers.